What is up, everyone? It is MiamiUSwagg back in business with my 2013 NFL mock draft, where I'm going to be mocking the whole first round. I'm going to be telling you where each guy is going, where, and why. I'm not going to be giving player analysis on each player. If you want that, go check out my top 10 on each play on each position. So yeah, let's get into it. With the first pick in the draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Luke Joeckel, the offensive tackle out of Texas A&M, with Brandon Albert possibly being traded and Eric Winston already out the door. The Chiefs take the best player on the board, Luke Joeckel, in my opinion, the best player in the draft. And yeah, they have a chance to take a cornerstone left tackle, someone who could protect Alex Smith's blind side for years. This guy is just flat out a stud. Some other picks I could see here are Deion Jordan, the outside linebacker from Oregon, and possibly even Eric Fisher, the other offensive tackle prospect out of Central Michigan. With the second pick in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Geno Smith, the quarterback out of West Virginia. With the new staff in place, you never know what Jacksonville is going to do. And I've been hearing reports that Jacksonville and Gus Bradley are in love with Geno Smith. And I could definitely see this being the pick. And I don't know how much longer they're going to be able to trust Blaine Gabbert as their quarterback. So other picks I could see happening are Deion Jordan, the outside linebacker out of Oregon, or even the offensive tackle Eric Fisher from Central Michigan. With the third pick in the draft, the Oakland Raiders select Deion Jordan, the defensive end / outside linebacker out of Oregon. Whether the Raiders switch to a 3-4 defense or not, it does not matter because Deion Jordan has so much raw athleticism and potential. He can even play as a 4-3 as an outside linebacker. I think this may come as a shocking pick to some, but I think the Raiders just love Deion Jordan as athleticism, and really, who doesn't? I think the other options here are D. Milliner, the cornerback out of Alabama, or even Sharif Floyd, the defensive tackle out of Florida. With the fourth pick in the draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Eric Fisher, the offensive tackle out of Central Michigan. With Chip Kelly bringing his new read option offense to the NFL, I don't think Michael Vick and Nick Foles being thrown around as rag dolls is one of his plans for his offense. So this is why I think they should take Eric Fisher. With Jason Peters always being injured and no other really consistent offensive tackle on the roster, I think Eric Fisher is going to be the pick, and he should be. Some other picks I could see are Deion Jordan or maybe even D. Milliner as other options here for the Eagles. With the fifth pick in the draft, the Detroit Lions select Ezekiel Ansah, the defensive end out of BYU. Think about a defensive line front featuring Nick Fairley, Ndamukong Suh, and Ezekiel Ansah. This guy is just an absolute freak. I think think of him on that Detroit Lions front, it would just be scary. I think he is actually an upgrade over Cliff Averill at defensive end. And yeah, some other options I can see here, or I can see them going with D. Milliner, the quarterback from Alabama, with their secondary very weak. Or I could see them upgrading the offensive line and taking Eric Fisher from Central Michigan. With the sixth pick in the draft, the Cleveland Browns select D. Milliner, the cornerback out of Alabama. With this pick, I think the Browns should go best player available mode, and that best player available is D. Milliner. And the opportunity to put D. Milliner on the other side of a stud corner like Joe Hayden lets AFC North quarterbacks know there will be no throwing against this Cleveland Browns defense. I think this will be a really good fit here. D. Milliner is going to be a stud in this Browns defense. Some other picks I could see here are Markevius Mingo, the outside linebacker from LSU, or even Ziggy Ansah, the outside linebacker / defensive end out of BYU. With the seventh pick in the draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Sharif Floyd, the defensive tackle out of Florida. They can go a variety of different options here, like the offensive line, but I think they're going to take the best player available. And I read somewhere on Walter Football that a rumor actually is that the general manager, if a good defensive line prospect like Sharif Floyd drops, that he would take him, and I think that's going to be the pick. Some other options here I can see happening are Lane Johnson, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma, or they could even take Chance Warmack, the offensive guard from out of Alabama. With the eighth pick in the draft, the Buffalo Bills select the offensive guard out of Alabama, Chance Warmack. I could see the Bills going a variety of different options here, but I think they're going to address the offensive guard position after losing Andy Levitt in free agency, so they can protect their franchise quarterback and build some holes for their running back, C.J. Spiller. Some other options I could see them going are getting a guy to go with Stevie Johnson, Cordarrelle Patterson, or I could see them taking even Matt Barkley as their new franchise quarterback. With the 9th pick in the draft, the New York Jets select Barkevious Mingo, the defensive end / outside linebacker of LSU. While the Jets defense wasn't necessarily bad last year, I think Barkevious Mingo will add a dynamic new element to this Jets pass rush after they lost Calvin Pace this past offseason. I think Rex Ryan is going to have so much fun doing all sorts of things with Barkevious Mingo in this defense. Some other options I could see them going are taking Starlet Tuile, the defensive tackle out of Utah, or even Tavon Austin, the wide receiver out of West Virginia. With the 10th pick in the draft, the Tennessee Titans select Starlet Tuile, the defensive tackle out of Utah. In this situation, I see the Titans taking the best player available, and that player is Starlet Tuile. In my opinion, he's the top 3 talent in this draft, but I do think the heart conditions are going to make him drop a little bit. I think this is going to be a great fit here for the Titans. They are pretty thin at defensive tackle, and Starlet Tuile will definitely fill that need. Some other options I could see them going are taking Chance Warmack, the guard out of Alabama, or Jonathan Cooper, the guard from North Carolina. With the 11th pick in the draft, the San Diego Chargers select Lane Johnson, the offensive tackle out of Oklahoma. I think the Chargers would be head over heels to pick Lane Johnson in this spot, as they are very weak at left tackle after Jared Gaither leaving. And yeah, I think they would just be really happy to get a guy to protect who can protect Phillip Rivers for years. And this would just be an overall great pick. Just phenomenal talent that Lane Johnson is. Some other options I could see them going are Starlet Tuile, if he were to slip here, the defensive tackle out of Utah, or even Chance Warmack, the offensive guard out of Alabama. With the 12th pick in the draft, the Miami Dolphins select Jonathan Cooper, the offensive guard out of North Carolina. Losing Jake Long in free agency really hurt the Dolphins, and now they really need offensive line help to help protect their quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. And Jonathan Cooper is the best offensive lineman on the board. In my opinion, he's on par with Chance Warmack as one of the best guards. And I think he really fits his zone blocking scheme very well. Some other options I could see here are Alabama's offensive tackle, DJ Fluker, or even the Florida State cornerback, Xavier Rhodes. With the 13th pick in the draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Tavon Austin, the wide receiver out of West Virginia. While they do already have Vincent Jackson and Mike Williams, you can never give a young quarterback like Josh Freeman too many weapons. Plus, I've been hearing top 15 hype for this guy, and I totally believe this guy's a dynamic playmaker. Some could consider this a luxury pick, but I don't think so. Tavon Austin is the real deal. He's a sure thing to me. Some other options I could see here are Sheldon Richardson, the defensive tackle out of Missouri, or I could see them even taking Desmond Trufant, the quarterback from Washington, to help their horrible secondary. With the 14th pick in the draft, the Carolina Panthers select Xavier Rhodes, the cornerback out of Florida State. One of the main reasons the Panthers are not playoff contenders currently is because their defense is not currently on par with their offense. And I think they do have a shot to go to the playoffs if they select a franchise corner like Xavier Rhodes here. He's great in run defense, and he's also very good in coverage. And with the retirement of Chris Gamble, I think this has to be the pick here for them because they have a pressing need at corner. Some other options I could see them going with are Sheldon Richardson, the defensive tackle from Missouri, or I could see them adding a playmaker on that offense for Cam Newton, like Cordarrelle Patterson, the wide receiver from Tennessee. With the 15th pick in the draft, the New Orleans Saints select Sheldon Richardson, the defensive tackle out of Missouri. With Rob Ryan implementing his new 3-4 defense in New Orleans, they really need a building block around that defense. And I think they can build around a guy like Sheldon Richardson, just a stud defensive tackle. I think he can play 5 technique in this defense. Some other options I could see here are Kenny Vaccaro, the safety out of Texas, or even Barkevious Mingo, the outside linebacker out of LSU. With the 16th pick in the draft, the St. Louis Rams select Cordarrelle Patterson, the wide receiver out of Tennessee. If Ram fans want to see the development of young quarterback Sam Bradford, they have to build around him. One way they can do that is giving him a dynamic, playmaking receiver with freaky upside, like a Cordarrelle Patterson. I think he can provide an immediate impact, and he can really give a spark to this Rams offense. Some other options I can see here are Kenny Vaccaro, the safety out of Texas, or if he's available, Jonathan Cooper, the offensive guard out of North Carolina, to help protect their quarterback, Sam Bradford. That is all, guys, for this video. I hope you enjoyed that video. Feel free to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Pick 17 through 32 will be coming very soon, within the next day or two. And also follow me on Twitter at LivingLegendX52. That is all, guys. This is MiamiUSwagg, and I'm out. Peace.